Do you find that you don't like the taste of tequila? Do you find yourself getting sick after drinking tequila? This is the first of 3 episodes that may explain why you are choosing the wrong tequila. And it starts right now on the Tequila Hombre. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre. If you find the tequila that you normally drink doesn't taste so good and you need salt and lime to make it taste better, or if you find yourself feeling kind of nauseous and sick, not feeling well the next day, it could be because of the processes used in making your tequila. So today we're going to talk about the processes used in making tequila. So first, let's talk about the recipe involved in making tequila. Tequila is a very simple recipe ingredient list. It's basically Weber blue agave, yeast, and water. That is it. So what really makes the different flavor profiles for the tequila that you taste if it's all basically the same ingredients? Well, it's easy. It has to do with the quality of the ingredients and the processes. So first, let's talk about the quality of ingredients. Let's take a look at the main ingredient used in making tequila, and that is the Weber blue agave. There's many things that a master distiller will look at in selecting their agave plants that they're going to use for their tequila. Age is a very important factor that they look at, whereas it typically takes an agave plant somewhere between 5 to 8 years to mature to the point where it's ready to use for tequila. By maturation, we mean developing the sugars inside the piña that will be used in the fermentation and distillation of the spirit. Another aspect they look at is terroir or location, and that is where the agave is grown. Agave from the highlands is said to have a different flavor profile and different sugar content than tequila from the lowlands or by the area of the city of Tequila. So it all depends on what kind of flavor profile they want to develop as to what kind of tequila what kind of agave that they're going to select. Also, there's some unscrupulous producers that will use immature agave to make their tequila, and we'll get more into them a little later. The second ingredient to look at that has a big impact on the flavor profile of the tequila is the water. The quality of water is really important in what kind of flavor profile you're going to get for your tequila. I had a chance to visit Felipe Camarena at El Pendillo on my last visit to the tequila region, and he uses multiple kinds of water for his tequila. He uses rainwater, he uses deep well water, and he uses groundwater. And all of them create a different flavor profile within the tequila. If you ever had a chance to try his Terralta, Pasote, or G4, you'll notice the difference in the flavor profile. So considering the water quality is really important in knowing what kind of quality tequila you're going to produce. Yeast is also a very important ingredient to consider when making tequila as far as what kind of fermentation results you're going to get. But I'm not a microbiologist and I don't know a whole lot about yeast, so I'm really not going to get into yeast profiles within this video. All right, so now that we've talked about the ingredients, let's talk about the processes that are used in creating tequila from the agave plants. The first thing that happens is the agave plants are brought to the distillery and they're prepped for cooking, and then after cooking, they're milled, and then after milling, they use the juices from it to ferment, and then after it's done fermenting, they'll distill that, and then it's either put in bottles after distillation or it's aged in barrels. All right, so going back to cooking the agave, the first thing that happens when the agave is harvested and prepped at the distillery, they have different ways of cooking the agave. And the reason why they cook the agave is because they want to convert all the starches in the piñas into sugar so they can extract it and use it in the fermentation to ferment. So the first thing they do is they cook it using either an autoclave or a horno. Horno is the preferred method right now, although there are quite a few distilleries that use the autoclave. With the Horno, it's basically a clay brick oven that they will fill with steam and cook the agave over a long period of time. With the Horno, it typically takes somewhere between 24 to 36 hours to cook the agave using a Horno. And then, of course, there's a time, too, where it has to sit and cool down before the staff can handle it to move it on to the mill. With the autoclave, it's a cylindrical type of tank that they will put the agave in and then fill it with steam and get it under pressure. It's kind of like a pressure cooker that you have at your house. And this will cook the agave in the same way as the Horno, except it will do it a lot faster. Some people believe the Horno imports better flavors in the tequila than the autoclave does, but it's a matter of opinion. So after it's cooked, it's then milled. And there's different ways that they can use to mill it. One of them is called the tahona. And the tahona is a large round lava rock that is rolled over the fibers in a pit. And when it rolls over the fibers, it extracts the sugary juice out of the fibers. And then they use that juice to go to fermentation. There's another device called a shredder roller mill, where they'll put the agave in a shredder at the top. It shreds it all down into fibers. And then it's run through the roller mill, where the roller mill squeezes the juice out of the fibers, which then go on to fermentation. So those are the two primary ways. There's also screw mills, and there's other mills that they use. But typically you'll see roller mill and you'll see tahona that are being used the most. Although tahona is making a comeback, you're seeing more distilleries using tahonas now. But typically the most popular right now is the roller mill. Now, after it is crushed, is then going on to fermentation. And fermentation typically happens in a steel vat or a wooden vat or even sometimes a ceramic vat that's built into the ground. It all depends on the distillery on what they want to use. After fermentation, it then goes on to distillation. Distillation can happen in a few different ways. Typically, the most favorite is a copper pot still, and they do what's called a 2 times distillation in the copper pot still. Some distilleries will use a copper pot still for the first, and then a stainless steel still for the second. And some use a column still, which is more like a still for vodka, and it'll strip a lot of the flavoring out of the tequila. All right, those processes and the equipment I talked about previously are what's typically used by producers of good quality tequila. So as big liquors got more involved in tequila production, they've looked for less costly, more efficient ways of handling these processes. And so they basically automated it with a device called the diffuser. So we're going to talk a little bit about the diffuser and how it works. So basically a diffuser is a large machine. You see, I'll post a picture right up here. And basically what they do is they take the uncooked agave and they'll load it through the top of the diffuser, and it shreds it into fine fibers that'll be laid on a conveyor belt. Then they're blasted with hot water until they extract over 95% of the starches out of the agave. And I can assure you, with that 95%, you're getting some other things in there that will not contribute nicely to the taste of the agave. So after they do that, then they send it on to be cooked. And they basically convert the starches to sugar in a autoclave that's been basically set up on its side. So they fill it up and they blast it with hot steam to convert those starches to sugars. So then after they're done converting the starches to sugars, it then goes on to distillation. They typically use a column still for distillation, which sucks a lot of the agave type flavors out of the distillate. It's like it is basically a vodka still. So then, in order to make it actually taste like tequila, sometimes they'll add flavoring into it, artificial flavoring, to make it taste like cooked agave. So typically the tequila that's produced by these machines in this process is the kind of tequila where you need salt and lime to disguise the taste. If you've ever taken a shot of tequila without salt and lime from some of these tequilas, and you just get that really gross, bitter, hot taste, that's most likely because it was diffused tequila. So you're probably wondering, well, how do I know if the tequila that I'm drinking is diffused? Well, I will show you how to tell, and that's coming up here in this next segment. All right, so you are on your way to the liquor store and you want to buy tequila, but you want to make sure you buy a good quality tequila that is not diffused. All right, so how will you know? Well, the way I recommend is going to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store and downloading the Tequila Matchmaker app for your phone. Once you download the app, then you can search and actually see how the tequila that you're buying is made and what people think of it. So let's take a look at some brands you may be familiar with or see on the store shelves, like Cazadores is one of them. So we see under brands, we see Cazadores. By the way, I'm using the web interface now just because it's easier for me to record this to show you what to do. So you download the app, you do a search on Cazadores. Here it'll show the brands, it shows the distilleries that it's made at, and then we select, let's say we were going for the Cazadores Blanco. So we select the Blanco. It'll open up the profile for it, and it'll tell us that it's made in the highlands of Jalisco in Los Altos region. It is cooked with an autoclave after the diffuser, and they use a diffuser for extraction. Bad news. This stuff is not going to be good tasting tequila. This is the kind of stuff you have to drink with salt and lime to disguise the flavor. This is the stuff that'll give you that bitter tequila face after you do a shot of it. This is not the stuff you should be drinking. This is the stuff headaches and morning hangovers are made out of. All right, so let's look at some other brands to give you an idea here. Let's say we look at G4 tequila. So we do G4 in the search, and the brand's G4 pops up. This is made by Felipe Camarena at El Pendillo. So we click on this here, and we see the production method is with a lot of the processes that I talked about earlier. They use a stone brick oven, the horno, for cooking. Uses a tahona to get the sugars out of the agave. Uses natural spring water and rainwater, so good quality water. And then is stainless steel tanks, and it's 2 times distilled, and they use a copper pot still. So everything here is good. So you know this is probably going to be a good quality tequila. And then to confirm that, you can scroll down and see how people rank it. So 90, 95, you know, these are really good scores. And this is a very good quality tequila. So all you basically have to do is download this app, and when you walk into a store, type the brand name in here, and most of the brands are covered in here. I haven't found too many that aren't. Okay, so there you have it, a way to find out whether the tequila you're about to purchase is diffused or not, and whether it's of good quality, or at least produced in a good quality manner. So you go to the grocery store and you're wondering, okay, well, there's a lot of this diffused tequila there. What other tequila could I possibly purchase that I could drink where I know I'm not going to get, you know, too badly hungover or feel sick after drinking it, and I'll get a decent flavor from it? Well, some of the brands that I recommend that you can find out here where I am in California on the grocery store shelves are brands like Dolce Vita. It's made very well. It's a good quality tequila for a very affordable price. I think I find this for around $17.99. You can do shots with this, make great margaritas. It's a good solid tequila at the budget level. Another one that I actually kind of enjoy quite a bit too is the Kirkland brand. Yeah, $19.99 for, what is this, 2 liters? 1.75 liters. $19.99 at Costco. It's a good tequila. You can do shots with this. You can make margaritas with it. It's not bad compared to the diffuser stuff. Also, some other brands, Altos Omeka is another one. It's kind of in a square bottle. You'll see that on the shelves in a lot of grocery stores or neighborhood liquor stores as well. So I decided I was going to try to take one for the team here and kind of do a taste comparison between one of these budget tequilas and something that was given to me because I won't buy it, but a small bottle of Cazadores Diffused Tequila. So, as usual, I'm going to drink it neat in a Jarrito Stazel glass and do a side-by-side comparison for you to kind of show you, although you really have to taste them side-by-side yourself to really know, but this will give you some insight into them. So in one glass, we'll put the Cazadores, which I have a feeling I'm not going to be drinking all of this. And we'll kind of describe the flavors that we're getting from these. And in the other glass, I will load in some Dolce Vita. All right. Dolce Vita in this glass. That one will wash away the Cazadores, I'm sure. So don't torture yourself by drinking bad tequila. I'm going to take one for the team here. The smell, it smells very medicinal. There is some cooked agave smell to it, but it smells very medicinal and chemical, like chemicals, compared to really good tequila. So let's taste it. Oh! First things first, the burn on this is ridiculous. Not getting much flavor from it. A little sweetness. But then it's got a chemical, kind of bitter taste to it. The burn is ridiculous. The burn is, it's like drinking paint thinner. The burn was ridiculous on that. I'm telling you. I got tears coming out of my eyes now from it. All right, so now the Dolce Vita. Oh, very sweet agave flavor or smell from it. Cooked agave, you get the vegetal grassy. So buy a bottle of Dolce Vita and buy a little bottle of Cazadores, or if you have it, and do a side-by-side comparison. This has got little to nothing on the smell, just slight sweetness to it, this is the Cazadores. This is the Dolce Vita. Oh, world of difference between the two. This actually smells really nice. Cooked agave. A little bit of brininess. It smells wonderful. All right, so let's try that. Let's do the flavor on this. This probably has 1/10 of the burn that Cazadores does. That burn was horrible. It's lots of cooked agave sweetness in it. It's got an oily, creamy mouthfeel to it. A little bit of fruitiness. And it just has a little burn, but not nearly as bad as that Cazadores was. This is a really good tequila. I could sip on this easily. It is not bad at all. Is it one of my most favorite Blancos? No. But for $17.99, I could sit and drink this without a problem, or make margaritas with it and not feel bad about it. And I'm sure I wouldn't feel bad tomorrow morning if I drank quite a bit of it, if you get what I mean. All right, so there you go. Stay away from the diffuser stuff. It is nasty. And if you are a type of person that was buying the Cazadores or buying El Jimador or buying Hornitos and dousing yourself with salt and lime, you don't need to do that. You can have a good experience with a low-priced tequila that's made the proper way, or you can go for some of the more expensive brands that are even finer tequilas. A G4 is one of my favorite Blancos. Pasote is another favorite Blanco. Peralta is another great Blanco. All of these you can find in some of the higher-end liquor stores. Drink good tequila, you'll have a better experience, and you'll learn to appreciate and love the spirit even more. So that's it for this episode. Please subscribe. We have another episode coming up, part 2 of this series, where we'll talk about additives in your tequila. So until then, stay away from the diffused stuff, drink the good stuff, and salud.